Hi guys, welcome back to PyNet Labs. My name is Chirag and I'm back again with some more details on Python. So let's get started without wasting any time and let's explore Python in some more details. In the last session, we looked into how the Python installation can be done and how we can actually get started with using the Python inside interpreter. So today also we'll be exploring Python a little more in detail with some various kind of operators. So let's get started without wasting any time and let me quickly open my command prompt. So here's my command prompt, and in order to enter into Python or Python interpreter, I have to use the word Python, right? So I'll write down Python and I'm inside the interpreter. Now yesterday we also tried to print out hello world. So let's try printing out another message today. We'll say print bracket. Then again, since yesterday, I mean, in the last session also, I told you guys that um, you have to write whatever you want to display around the quotation marks. So I'll be putting those here. I'll put down the quotation marks and we'll type down hello, everyone. Welcome to PyNet Labs. Then close the quotation marks, close the brackets, hit enter, and the text will be displayed out. It's as simple as that. Now, after printing this, let's try out some basic arithmetic operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Let's try doing out some basic simple maths and let's see how it works. So I'll try to add out some things. Let's say 65 plus 66, enter. And there you go. We got the results 131. Simply, I can also do subtraction as well. 35 minus 41, let's say. So it's going to give me the output as -6, which is a absolutely correct output. Then let's say 5 multiplied by 5, that gives me 25. Then 36 divided by 6, enter. Okay, it gives me some error which says unexpected indent. Why is that? That's that's error is there because of the space which I gave before 36. So that was the reason why it didn't get executed and gave me the indentation error. So I'll make sure that there is no space, unnecessary space before my numbers. So I'll type 36 divided by 6 again. And there you go, we got the output 6. So basically, we here are trying to understand that this plus sign is there for uh, representing addition. Then minus this hyphen sign is there for representing subtraction. Then the star or asterisk sign is there for representing multiplication. Then this slash is simply there for division. Now, just like that, you can perform various more arithmetic operations, but that is something which is not our concern as of now. We'll try out these basic things and we'll just move on. Now, the next thing we are going to talk about are going to be known as variables. So variables are basically containers which we use for storing data value. Now, one of the most powerful feature, I would say, of a programming language is the ability to use variables, which we have got here in Python. So let's get started. Let's try to understand how these variables work and how they are actually used in Python. So when I talk about variables, as I mentioned, these are simply a container inside which we are storing data values. So for example, let's say now I just want to store this message into a container. What I'll do is I'll create a container. Let's say message. Message is my container name. Then I'll use a equals to sign here. And then I'll store the value inside it by again using quotation marks and we'll type down hello everyone, comma, welcome to PyNet Labs. That's it. Enter. Now in this particular scenario or in this particular line, we can say message is the variable name which we are using. Then this equals to will be known as assignment operator. And the value on the right side is basically the value which we are storing inside it. Simple, right? But this is not that easy. you have to make sure that you are following some rules to name a particular variable. Now, here I have given it the name message, and I can see the message getting stored inside it without any errors. But are there any weird names which I can use? Let's try. Let's try to name 123 message. 123 message is equals to PyNet Labs hyphen network automation specialist. Let's try to store this particular value inside the variable called 123 message. Wait a second, when I try to hit enter, I'm getting a error here, which is a syntax error. Why is that? That's because I cannot give a variable name which starts with some numbers. So they can contain both letters and numbers, but the beginning cannot be your number. So you have to make sure that while giving some name to your particular variable, first of all, you have to make sure that it has some meaning and it explain the purpose. Then secondly, there are these rules that your variable name cannot start with some numbers. Then also your variable cannot have space between the name. Then your variable can also not use any kind of special characters except the underscore. So for example, let's say I want to store my first name. I cannot say first space name is equals to Chirag. That is not possible. That's again an invalid syntax. So what to do in such kind of scenarios? I'll say first underscore name is equals to Chirag, like that. Now this time I didn't get any error. Similarly, instead of saying message instead of saying 123 message, what I can do is I can turn around things here by saying message 123 is equals to PyNet Labs network automation specialist, enter. And this time again, I didn't get any error because these are some legal names. If you give a variable an illegal name, you will get a syntax error like this. Now the question is, what is the benefit of storing these data inside these containers? So now I don't have to call them again and again whenever I'm using whenever I'm using or willing to use these values inside a particular function. So for example, let's say I want to print out message 123. So I don't have to type down the complete thing. I can simply say print message 123, enter, and it will print out the value which it contains. PyNet Labs Network Automation Specialist. Similarly, I can say print message, which is also a container which I created earlier. So it says, hello everyone, welcome to PyNet Labs. I can say print first underscore name. And there you go. We got the output as Chirag. So just like that, you can use your containers into various kind of scenarios and with various kind of functions, which we will be exploring step by step gradually later on in the videos. Now, another important thing to understand here is that there are some, we can say, keywords which we cannot use as the variable names. Now, Python has various kind of keywords like true, like false, like uh, and, like none. All these are keywords which are recognized as some kind of program in the Python. So we cannot use them as variable names. Otherwise, there would be, we can say, a clash, right? So for example, if I try to use the keyword from is a keyword from Python, which I cannot use as a variable name. So when I try using from and try to store the value, let's say, um, hey there inside it. So it gives me the error that it is an invalid syntax. Then similarly, if I try to use if, again, I'm getting an invalid syntax. So I'll put down the list of all these keywords in the description, which you can go through and can learn about. and can make sure that you are not using them as your variable names. Then another important thing to understand is how to assign values to multiple variables in one line. Let's say I want to create three variables, X, Y, and Z. And to X, I want to store the value orange. To Y, I want to store the value banana. To Z, I want to store the value cherry. So the first way of achieving this is by doing this. X is equals to orange. Okay. X is equals to orange. Then Y is equals to banana. Then Z is equals to cherry. This is the first way through which I can achieve this. But Python allows you to assign all these values to multiple variables in just a single line. How can you do that? You can say, let's try now creating ABC rather, and we'll give it the value apple, grapes, and let's say mango. So A, comma, B, comma, C is equals to apple, comma, grapes, comma, mango. Enter. So by using this, I am assigning the values to three variables, A, B, C, with the values apple, grapes, mango, respectively. Now, if you want to test it out, you can say print B, enter, and we can see the output is grapes. I can say print Y, which was the first method which I tried, and I can see the output is banana. I can say print C, and there you go. We got the output as mango. So just like that, you can assign the values to your variables, be it you define it like in different lines or be it in the same line. It's your choice how you want to do it. Now, another important thing which I want your attention to be at is when I write down my variable name, I don't use quotation marks around it, right? Because these are objects. These are objects and my Python can identify them and can call them because they are already defined, right? Earlier, when I was trying to print any message, when I was trying to print hello world, in that case, hello world, the message was not stored inside any kind of object which I could call, right? So in that scenario, I have to use quotation marks. So that I can get the exact output as my results. But what will happen if I use quotation mark around my variables? That's a question which I have, right? So let's try that out. We'll learn from our mistakes. We'll try to make as much mistakes as we can. So we'll say print A first without quotation marks, and I get the output as apple. But when I put quotation marks around A, let's see what happens after that. So print quotation mark A like this. So I can get the output instead of apple as A. So I'm getting an output as A instead of apple. Why? Because this time my Python didn't recognize A as an object. It understood it as a particular value which I want to be printed out. Why so? Because I surrounded it with quotation marks. I hope this makes sense to you all. So that's how you can make sure that you create some variable and your variables are being called, not the exact values. Now, variables can be stored with different types of data. Your data can be of various types. It can be numeric, it can be a sequence, it can be a set, it can be a Boolean type, it can be binary, it can be mapping, and so on. There are various data types which can be used in Python. But do we have to learn them all? No. As network engineers, we will be only discussing about only, we can say, some of the important data types like integers, strings, and a list, and then dictionaries. So that's all which we will be talking about, and that's all which we have to learn in order to get started with the network automation journey. So I'll see you in my next video. In that video, we'll be discussing about some of the data types, and we'll see how they work and what all built-in function I can use along with those data types. So I'll see you in that next video. Till then, I want you to practice whatever we have discussed in this video, and I'll see you in the next part. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Have a good day.